I find that it's very, very inspiring. The intensity is there. The festival season is, we had a festival season. There was so much intensity there in terms of, doing devotional service. So I thought this is a good way to keep continuing. So today, with transformation, just want to do it a bit slightly differently than how Harekrishna Prabhu did it. I want to sort of go a bit more into what transformation is from a spiritual perspective. So there'll be a bit of theory at the start from the books to see how, from our scriptures, to see how the evidences that we got from various scriptures, Srimad Bhagavatam, Chaitanya Charitamrita, and so on, and see what has been said by our acharyas on transformation. So, okay. So when I was looking at a few things, I was thinking about firstly my meditation on transformation. So I find transformation is very dynamic. Right? Transformation is something that, like Krishna consciousness, is very, very dynamic. Transformation is something that really helps us distinguish between just an institution and a Krishna consciousness movement, because you can see a real transformation, real lives being changed. So rather than just a body being a harekrishnatemple and being a truly spiritual organization, what distinguishes, it's, in my opinion, is the transformation like that. So, we want to attract, it's our duty, we say, to attract more and more people who are in the material world to the spiritual world and give them a glimpse. And, a lot of devotees think about different strategies of what's the best way I can attract people. And when we actually look at it, I've seen from my experience as well and my friends' experiences, when you see transformation happen within people, that will be the best advertisement. That will be the best way to attract new people. When they've seen someone and they say, wow, this person has changed, I can see it. That's the best strategy, the best advertisement for anyone. So these are some of my thoughts. So when we say transformation, are we transforming ourselves into something new? Or no? Yes. No. Right? So there is a verse in the Chaitanya Charitamrita. We can see here. Nitya Siddha Krishna Prema Sadhya Kavunai Shravanadi Suddha Chitta Kare Uday. There's a pure love for Krishna is eternally established in the hearts of the living entities. It doesn't say temporary. Doesn't say after you come to Krishna consciousness. It's eternal. It is something to be gained from, it's not something to be gained from another source. When the heart is purified by hearing and chanting, this love naturally awakens. So when you can see a few examples here, or a few pointers I should say, as I said, eternally. So we always had it. If it's eternal, which means we've always had it and we'll always have it. And also says naturally awakens. So that's something that is still within us, lying dormant, and now it awakens. So we are actually trying to transform ourselves back into our original selves, right? To feel a different person. So one time when I was going to Vrindavan, a senior devotee told me that once you go to Vrindavan, you change or you transform. So every time you go to Vrindavan, you change. There's some transformation happens. And when I thought about this, when I was preparing for this talk, I thought about, when people come here as well at the temple, I've seen that whenever they come here, I've seen so many people just transform themselves. Even, I don't know about spiritually, but I know after eating the amazing prasadam everyone cooks every week, I think people are transformed, at least in that sort of way, by eating prasadam. So we are all trying to be genuine devotees. As Prabhupada used to say, we don't want to be show bottle spiritualists. Right? Prabhupada used to say, I think he's quoted in quite a few verses, quite a few lectures, that we don't want to be show bottle spiritualists. But we're all trying. We're all not there as yet, but we're all trying. Now sometimes I'll be lying if I say, I'm sitting on the Vyasasana. So I'll be lying if I say that, I know everything about this topic. I don't want to pretend that I know everything about it, but we try to make effort. We try to make genuine effort, and there might be things that might come out of my mouth today that might not be correct, but the intention is correct. And we pray to Krishna simply that, please forgive me, I'm trying. So in that way, if we do devotional service, the transformation happens slowly but steadily for all of us. So does anyone else feel like a pretender, or is it just me? Okay, it's just me. I thought I knew. Okay. So I want to ask a question. I want to open it up a bit, as I usually do with my talks. I want to open it up and get a view from everyone. Now, I think the odds are against us, right? So why we talk about transformation. So, something usually not favorable to something more favorable. So why do you think Krishna has made it so hard for us to transform ourselves? It's very easy to pick up bad habits. Very easy to get addicted to, say, chocolates or any of the things, right? It's very, very easy, or bad habits, or waking up late, or, being lazy, or so on. So why has Krishna made it so hard for us to do that? Why the odds, I feel at least, are stacked against us? Open the floor. Do you think, firstly, yes, Madhuri?
I was going to say, because Krishna is devotee Maya, she's really good at what she does.
Yes.
She's good at presenting options that will deter us, that are hard to compete with.
Yes. But why does Krishna want to make it so hard? You're right, absolutely, Maya is making it difficult. But why Maya is Krishna's energy like that. So why does Krishna want to make it? Why is Krishna making it so hard for us to, not be inclined towards good habits very easily?
Because Krishna consciousness is not very cheap. We value things that are expensive and rich in that sort of way. So Krishna consciousness is not cheap.
Yes.
So it's
good
not
point.
cheap.
Krishna doesn't make heart, but your heart and your soul is more important. Your mentality is. Krishna is always giving suggestion to us. If
Yes.
you don't follow the suggestions,
Yes.
it makes it hard for your life.
Yes. So Mataji says Krishna is giving us suggestions all the time. He's not making it hard for us. Okay. Anyone else? Any Prabhus? Yes.
So Krishna is making hard because once you love the Krishna, you can control the Krishna. So he doesn't want to be controlled by.
So he doesn't want to be controlled.
Doesn't want to be controlled by. Yeah.
Okay. Can you elaborate a bit, Prabhu?
So once you do devotional service, then you love Krishna, and by loving Krishna, Krishna is controlled by love.
Right. Okay. Yes.
It's not easy to control Krishna.
Yes, I get your point. Yes, thank you, Ruth. Yes, good point, that too. Anyone else?
He's giving us the free will to choose.
He's giving us a free will to choose, yes. But he's given us a free will, but Krishna would have made it easier also. Okay. Yes, sir.
This is actually derived from sense perception. You think it is hard because you make it hard and then you blame Krishna.
Yes.
It is you.
Yes.
It is me who is actually making the obstacles. And I say, I can't do it, it's too hard. Yeah, because of you.
Yes.
It is, I am the one who make a decision.
Yes.
Make it easier, make it light. Krishna says also that Suslukam Katu Bhavayam. It should be joyfully perfect.
Yes.
If it is hard for you, it's not Krishna who make it. It's me.
Yes. Absolutely true, Prabhu.
Thank you. Myself.
Yes.
Well, I have to blame someone.
Yes, but Prabhu, the point I'm trying to get to is, why is it so easy for us to be inclined towards, towards the bad habits, say for example, or say being lazy, or yes, it's me, it's my problem, but why is it Krishna made it like that? Yes, fine.
Also, the age of Kali Yuga means.
Yes, the external modes of nature, yes.
Yeah, that's just moral hypocrisy, loss of memory, bad health, poor habits. That's just also the conditioning.
Yes, yes. Good point, thank you. Yes, Prabhu.
The three modes of the three, tamas is easiest because it's on the low, it's kind of like there's some kind of gravity that has everything naturally degrade, or it's called entropy, go
Yes.
down to tamas. Whereas to stay or to elevate ourselves, we're climbing it. You know, to fall is easy, but
Yes.
to climb is hard.
Yep.
Or to destroy a building is easier than to build
Build
it.
it. Yeah. Yeah, good points. Yeah, so, oh yes, nothing.
The impression of previous birth
Yes,
to come out of that and purify
Yes.
is hard.
yes, that's hard. Yeah. So, the point I was trying to make was Prabhupada uses this one word, he coined this word, he didn't coin the word, but he uses this word quite regularly in the scriptures, and that's what I'm sort of getting to. Is, and I should not have given it away, but I actually gave it away when I was asking about it. Is the word he talks about all the time is inclination, is how we are inclined. So I just wanted to draw something. I think hopefully technology works. Okay, let's see. Technology mata ki jai. So it's said that we are, as Prabhupada says, he says we are all inclined in a certain way. So basically, if you look at this as an inclination, right? So this is like an incline when we describe, like it's like an incline. You go towards a hill, there's an inclination, and so on. So if we say the mode of ignorance and passion is here, and mode of goodness is here on top, and now when I'm pouring a jug of water, I'm pouring any water, basically from top here, I'm pouring water here, like that. What happens? Where does it go? That's right, it goes down, right? Why does it go down?
It's inclined.
Because it's inclined in that direction, right? So what do we do to change that? But we want to go the other way. So the first thing, what's the first thing we do?
Change the
You have to put upway.
Yes.
When
How
you
do-
put up the way,
Yes.
it doesn't come down.
Yes.
It doesn't stay there only.
Yes. So as is mentioned in the scriptures, you say first thing you do is control your senses, right? So if you restrict, you try to restrict things. A lot of people feel, I feel still, that it's there are so many restrictions, right? There are so many restrictions when we do things. So first thing that comes when you're in the process of becoming a devotee, is there are restrictions. Right? Second thing you want to do, so you probably build a dam here, right? You build some sort of a dam here to say, okay, no water can, basically go there. Then you try to obviously push it up. Then, because now you're restricting, you develop some good qualities, you're starting to develop that. So you're trying to push it up, push the water up, you're trying to redirect the water up to more of goodness. So you're trying to push it up. But eventually what happens is, water still, because the inclination is still not there, water will keep coming down. Right? The water will still, because of how we are inclined, right? How our consciousness is. Eventually, what you want to do is you want to reconstruct. Now, I could have been a doctor, so please excuse my handwriting. So we need to reconstruct. Right? So when we restrict, there is a lot of hard work. When we reconstruct, there is again a lot of hard work. Sorry, when we restrict, there's a lot of hard work. When we redirect, there's still a lot of hard work. But the actual transformation stage happens when we're actually reconstructing. Right? When we're actually reconstructing. So, question might be asked, how do we reconstruct? And what is Sanatan talking about here? Right? So, how do we reconstruct? So, there's a verse given here. It's from Srimad Bhagavatam. Canto 2, chapter 3. The title of the chapter is Pure Devotional Service, Change in Heart. Right? So that itself talks about transformation. And this verse says, Tadasmasaram hridayam vatedam Yad grihamanair harinama dehaya Na vikriye tatha yada vikaro Netre jalam gatra ruheshu harshaha So it says here that certainly that heart is steel framed, which is which in spite of one's chanting the holy name of the Lord with concentration does not change even when one displays such signs of transformation as tears in the eyes and ecstatic standing of the hairs on it. So this verse tells us the problem, right? That a heart is steel frame, it says. Yeah? A heart is steel frame, like that. So it becomes very difficult when any spiritual experience comes. Yes, we feel it, but a lot of times because our heart is steel frame, we reflect it. Like example, if you shoot something on a steel heart, right, it will just go back. The bullet will just go back. But maybe if it's a pillow or something soft, you want to hold it. When a spiritual experience comes, you want to hold it. So if the heart melts, then you can keep hold of those spiritual experiences. But here, in Bhagavatam, it said that a heart is still framed. So even after experiencing all the different angas of bhakti that we do in a daily life, chanting, hearing, Shravanam, Kirtanam, Vishnu Smaranam, and so on, we are still, it's very difficult to be attracted like that. Right? So Prabhupada says, the answer also in there, it's a bit of a purport, it's a bit long purport, but I want to read it because it really sort of draws home the point about transformation, that's what we're talking about today. So the whole process of spiritual culture is aimed at changing the heart of the living being in the matter of his eternal relation with the Supreme Lord as subordinate servant, which is his eternal constitutional position. So Prabhupada says, we are in the eternal constitutional position. So with the progress of devotional service, the reaction of change in the heart is exhibited by gradual detachment from the sense of material enjoyment by a false sense of lording it over the world and the increase in the attitude of rendering devotional service. Vidhi bhakti, or regulated devotional service, by the limbs of the body, namely the eyes, the ears, the nose and the hands and the legs, as already explained here before, is now stressed herein in relation to the mind, which is impetus for all activities of the limb in the body. It is expected by all means that discharging regulated devotional service, one must manifest the change in heart. So it's discharging regulated devotional service, one must manifest a change in heart. If there is no such change, the heart must be considered steel frame, for it is not melted even when there is chanting of the holy name of the Lord. We must always remember that hearing and chanting are the basic principles of discharging devotional duties. And if they are properly performed, they will follow the reactional ecstasy with the signs of tears in the eyes and standing of the hairs on the body. These are natural consequences and are the preliminary symptoms of the bhava stage, which occurs before one reaches the perfectional stage of prema, love of God. So as you can see, Prabhupada very clearly explains that it's regulated devotional service. That's what the point I want to make. But to give context, I wanted to read the whole purport. So when you talk about transformation, Chaitanya Mahaprabhu said, what is the one verse that is the sar of the whole Bhagavatam? So Chaitanya Mahaprabhu says there's this one verse. Does anyone know? Harekrishna Prabhu is not here. He's maybe watching online. You don't know, but anyone else would know? His Guru Maharaj said this to him, which is Ishvara Puri. He said to him that this is the verse, and this again relates to what we're talking. Evam vratasva priyanama kirtaya jatanurago druta chitta uchaya asati atho roditi rautu gayati Unmadavanrityati lokabhaya. By chanting the name of the Supreme Lord, one comes to the stage of Godhead. What's the stage? I think it's cut off there. By chanting the holy name of the Supreme Lord, one comes to the stage of love of Godhead. Then the devotee is fixed in his vow as an eternal servant of the Lord, and he gradually becomes very much attached to a particular name and form of the Supreme Personality of Godhead. As his heart melts with ecstatic love, he laughs very loudly and cries or shouts. Sometimes he sings and dances like a madman, for he is indifferent to public opinion. So that is the inclination. So, technology usually gets us in. Sorry.
It's here. It was.
Oh, it was. Okay.
It's his back.
Okay. So, what's my train of thoughts? Okay, so what I wanted to talk about was mainly transformation. That we're talking about transformation, and the previous verse also was talking about transformation. But over the past few weeks, I don't know if everyone's felt it, but I felt a lot of transformation, and I sort of think that it's more because of the intensity. We've got so many festivals. Every sort of last few weeks I've been coming. We started with Janmashtami, Balaram Purnima, Julan Yatra, Janmashtami, Radha-Astami, Vaman, Appearance Day, and Bhadra Purnima. And I was like, okay, on Wednesday I was like, yep, this is the end of the festival season. And then yesterday, I don't know if you noticed on Facebook, we announced Diwali. Save the date already. So, festivals just don't end. So you can see that there is this great intensity at the moment, especially, So I thought, let's talk about that, Let's talk about that. Because with intensity, there comes a change. So Prabhupada was once asked by one of his disciples that, Prabhupada, we hear about, we hear Jagannath Swami, Nayana Patyagami, Bhavatu Me, which means, Jagannath, please appear in front of my eyes, be visible to my eyes. But Prabhupada, isn't it that we should pray that we should do so much devotional service that Krishna wants to come in front of us. We should not pray that Krishna, I want to see you. So, does anyone know what Prabhupada replied? Prabhupada said, no, it's not like that. It's like when you see Krishna, that is transformational. When you see Krishna, it creates this intensity for you to move forward in your devotional service. So you should do things with intensity. So, there is a story in Bhagavatam, because we're sticking to Bhagavatam. There is a story in Bhagavatam about this person there was intensity, there was determination. And he showed intense desire. Does anyone know who that person is? It was a young boy. Dhruva Maharaj, that's it. So it was Dhruva Maharaj. So, for those of you who don't know a lot about Dhruva Maharaj and his story, I'll just quickly say that. So he was only 5 years old. He was son of Uttanapada. And Uttanapada had 2 wives, Suruchi and Suniti. And as you can see here in the photo, Dhruva is one on the right, he's not on the left. He tried to go and sit in his father's lap. At 5 years old, as we know, kids want affection. He wanted his father's affection. He went and tried to sit in his lap, but he rejected him. And his wife, Suruchi, which is the younger wife, and she came and said, you cannot sit on father's lap. If you want to sit there and you want the throne, you'll have to be born in my womb. And that's when you can get the throne. It's like, go and pray to the Lord that in your next birth you're born from my womb. That's when you'll get your father's affection. Dhruva was distraught. He looked at his father and he was waiting for some sort of recognition, but he didn't get that. And then he went, as a 5-year-old would, he went to his mum, Suniti, and he was very upset. And he said, what do I do? And his mum said, look, your father, the reality is, your father doesn't love me anymore. Your father loves Suruchi. And only the Lord and she said something to you about the Lord. It's like, but yeah, I know one thing that you can do, that is go and pray to Krishna, go and pray to Vishnu, and he will help you out. And Dhruv, young boy, he was so upset that he just told me, he had heard that you go to the forest, sages go to the forest to pray. And he went to the forest, he wanted, and then he was so upset that he said, I want a kingdom greater than my father. And that's why he went to the forest. So I'll pray and I'll get a kingdom bigger and better than my father and my grandfather. So he went. And then Krishna sent a few devotees, he was 5-year-old boy, to test him. And Narada came and said, there are ferocious animals in the jungle. What are you going to do there? Just go back home, study, do what 5-year-olds do. And he goes, no. He was very, very determined. He still wanted to go. So he kept going. Then again, someone came and said, are you sure this is what you want to do? And he goes, yes, I am determined. I want a kingdom greater than my father. Again, we're talking about intensity. He was very, very intense. So like that, he knew, at some stage that Dhruva, that he wanted to achieve this. So he kept going. And then Narada finally thought, okay, this guy is determined. Let me see what I can do for him. So he gave him a mantra. Anyone know the mantra? Yes, it's it. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. And he also taught him to create like a deity through clay and so on. So you can offer flowers every day to that deity. So he went. And he was again so intensely determined what to do. He used to eat once in every 3 days. And he used to just eat some fruits. And then water, I think he used to drink just once in 6 days or so. And then by the 3rd month, I think he was only eating dry leaves in the 2nd month. In the 3rd month, he was just drinking water every 12 days or something like that. And then by the 4th month, he was only breathing once every few days. And by the 5th month, he reached a stage where he was not breathing, he was not eating anything, just completely fixed in what he was doing, completely intense. And then with that intensity, the Lord was pleased. The Lord came down himself. As you can see, this is Narada. And you can see here, there is Krishna coming and touching his conch shell on Dhruva's head. And Dhruva then, Krishna comes and he tells him, ask what you want. Now that you've sort of got my attention, I know what you want, but ask. Krishna knew obviously all this while what he wanted. But now he wanted Dhruva to tell him what he wanted. So then Dhruva offers these prayers. Let's recite these prayers quickly. Sthana Bilasi Tapasi. Sthana Bilasi Tapasi. I'll start again, sorry. Sthana Bilasi Tapasti Stitaham. Sthana Bilasi Tapasti Stitaham. Tvam Prapanyam Deva Munitra Guyam. Tvam Prapanyam Deva Munitra Guyam. Kacham Vichivan Abhidivya Ratnam. Kacham Vichivan Abhidivya Ratnam. Swamin Kathato Smivaram Nayache. Swamin Kathato Smivaram Nayache. So the translation, when he was being blessed by the Supreme Personality of Godhead, Dhruva said, "Oh my Lord, because I was seeking an opulent material position, I was performing severe type of penances and austerity. Now I've gotten you, who are very difficult for the great demigods, saintly persons, and kings to attain. I was searching after a piece of glass, but instead I have found a most valuable jewel. Therefore, I am so satisfied that I do not wish to ask any benefactions from you." So, Dhruva transformed completely. He had the intensity, and I can see, as I said about festivals. When we were just talking about festivals, when we are thinking about the festivals, people are like, okay, where is the manpower going to come from to pull this festival off? I don't know, but we'll make it happen. There is the determination how we want to do it. Where is the money from, the Lakshmi coming from? it'll come. Let's just do it. I remember when we were planning for Janmashtami, we wanted to start with a first day Janmashtami. We thought we'd start with a small Janmashtami, but then a lot of people said, no, we want to go all out. And then devotees took it up. The organizing team took it up, and you can see what happened. We didn't know how it was going to all manifest, but it somehow or the other manifested. So in the scriptures, there is another example of intensity, and I'll share one more example, and then I'll probably talk a bit more about practical, everyday stuff that we talk about as well, how this affects transformation in everyday life. So there's one more example, as you can see on the screen. It's Brahmaji, Lord Brahma. So Lord Brahma, when he was born from navel of Krishna, he said, he didn't know, he was born in darkness, he didn't know what to do. He meditated, and then he heard two words. There was intense meditation again, there's two words that he heard. And that what? Tapa, twice. Yeah. That's what it feels during festivals also, right? Tapa. So, because we're just coming out of all of that now. So there was this verse, but I'll probably skip it, I'm just conscious of time. So basically this verse, I'll just read the translation. It says, there's 4 times in this verse where Tapa is mentioned by Lord Brahma. Right? Tapa. So I want to share an example when I was thinking about this Tapa and festivals and so on. I want to share a personal story. I usually refrain from my personal stories, but I thought I want to share this because I thought it communicates the point I'm trying to. And magic happens. So humbly I'll share this story. So a couple of years ago, I went to UK for initiation ceremony of His Holiness Keshav Maharaj now. Back then he was Sanatan Prabhu. And our Guru Maharaj, he's my godbrother, and my Guru Maharaj was conducting the ceremony. So I was very fortunate to be there, and I went with Jamadagni. He's not here at the moment, but I went with Jamadagni. Both of us went there. And we attended the ceremony. It was amazing. And the next day in the morning, was His Holiness Jayadvaita Maharaj, who's our Param Guru as such. He was giving a class, Bhagavata class. So we thought, okay, let's attend it. So we went for the morning program because we were so enthusiastic. We went for the morning program. Then we went for his class. We stayed back for the whole class. And then, Jayadvaita Maharaj doesn't visit here. So we thought, we should, after the class, we were sort of hanging out with him, asking a few questions, and he was very kind to give us some time. So we spent a lot of time with him, and then we said, okay, now it's time for breakfast, because we've been there since early in the morning. And also, a bit of backstory. The devotee's house that I was staying at, very modest. I was sleeping on the floor, and he was actually traveling. And he told me to take care of his deities while we were there. So I had to wake up extra early and, do puja and everything like that. Anyway, so Bhagavatam finished, and then we went to the prasadam area, the big prasadam area. We were a bit late, but we went there, and they said, sorry, you're out of prasadam. I was like, okay. So oh well, what to do? And then, we didn't have any agenda as such. We just wanted to hang out there. So we went out, and then somehow someone came and gave us some sweets. Can't remember what it was, but someone gave us some sweets, I think 2 or 3. And Jamadagni took 1 or 2, and I took 1. I know I had 1. Anyway, so then, okay, we had that, and we were walking, and we saw these few devotees, and one of them was our broad brother, and he was some Kirtan leader. He was putting everyone in the van. They were going out for book distribution. And one of the devotees there, he looked at what I had in my hand, and he goes, "What's that?" And instinctively, I'll be honest, I really didn't want to give it to him. But instinctively, I just said, "Would you like it?" And I was praying. He said no, because I was really, really hungry. And obviously, guess what he said? Yes. So I gave it to him. And then, so that's what all, and we were in Bhaktivedanta manner, we didn't know where everything is, where you can get food or where there's more prasadam. Anyhow, I said, okay, that's how it is. And then all these devotees were going for Sankirtan. And they asked us, would you like to come? And we didn't know where they were going. They just told us, we're going to Oxford. Now, I don't know how far Oxford is from Bhaktivedanta manner. And we just said, okay, we're on, let's just go. Let's just take the ride. Let's just be spontaneous. And our Guru Maharaj is known to be spontaneous. So he said, in that mood, let us all just be spontaneous. So me and Jawaharlal, we said, yeah, let's go. So we sat in the van. And we helped them fill up the van with books and tables and all the other things. Now, Oxford, for those of you who probably might know, it was about an hour and a half away from where, from the manor. So I was already hungry. Everyone was, chanting and, in the bus, but I was just sitting there feeling hungry. Anyhow, finally we reached where we did, and I asked reluctantly to one of the devotees, when's Prashadam and what's, it's like, yeah, after book distribution. I said, okay. So I said, they must have got something somewhere. So, anyhow, so then we reached Oxford, we got there, we took all the books, the tables and everything out, we set it up nicely. Now some of you might know, a few years ago, we used to go to West End and do books distribution. We used to do door knocking and distribute books. And, in Australia people are very, very friendly. So everyone's got their own way of book distribution. And I have this thing where if I'm stopping someone on the street especially, I'll give them I see them coming, I'll give them I'll try to give them a high five, make it casual, or a fist pump, if they're younger, just to sort of engage with them like that. So I thought, okay, I've done book distribution, I'll be okay. So I tried the same in the UK, but oh man, I'll tell you, it's a different crowd there, that, especially, I don't know if it was Oxford or if it was just UK everywhere, but Oxford was different, no one sort of, I was doing that and everyone was just like, looking at me and just, passing by. So, I said, okay, this is not working. So I tried different, things and I was trying, I thought, okay, no, I can do this. And for those of you who've done book distribution, you will know, it can be an austerity. It can be tapa. So I was like, and I was getting really flat, then I was really getting disheartened because, firstly I was hungry, and then nothing was working. Somehow I managed to distribute a couple of books. Usually we always say, Vaishashika Prabhu, who I watched his videos and learned to distribute books. He always says, the cycle of distribution is complete when they give something in return, right? So, some sort of donation. But I distributed these books, they didn't give donation. I thought, you know what, I'm just going to give the books away. And if they won't, I'll give the donation, but I just can't do it. So again, I was very flat, and then I went and stood on the table there. And all I saw was, there was a lot of books there, and a Bhagavatam set. And again, I was deflated, and in that mindset, it was just a thought that came. I've never distributed a Bhagavatam, I've never given anyone a Bhagavatam, I've never offered any Bhagavatam to anyone. I thought, what if I distribute a Bhagavatam today? I would love to distribute a Bhagavatam today, get the opportunity, someone, like that, to someone. And then I was standing there for a few minutes, really deflated, hungry, and I don't know, this is real austerity. And by then it was like 4 o'clock in the evening, all of this was happening. And this Prabhu, from the other side, he just, this person, he just walks past. And I could see he's coming towards us, so I looked at him, greeted him, and he engaged in some sort of conversation. And he knew a bit about our philosophy, he knew a bit about Krishna consciousness. And there was a Bhagavatam set right in front of him. He said, can I please buy the Bhagavatam set? And I was like, are you sure? And he goes, yes, I want the Bhagavatam, can I buy it? I said, do you know much? I just tried to engage. I was trying to sort of reason with him. But he was like, no, I want it. And great, go for it. So actually, that was the first time I ever distributed a Bhagavatam set. So the point I'm trying to make with all this story, with this example, is, if there is some intensity, if there is some level of austerity, if there is some level of tapa we go through, sometimes after that is when we see Krishna's hand. So I don't think so I distributed that Bhagavatam set. But because I said I didn't go out, I didn't stop him, he was walking towards us, probably knew something. But Krishna, you see Krishna's hand in this. This is how I took it, that Krishna is trying to motivate me and keep me enthused like that. And that's why I was able to offer this Bhagavatam set to this person. Anyways, after Oxford, just to continue the story, it was another hour and a half back, most agonizing. But then we had amazing prasadam at about 6:30, so it was... After that I was like... So, again, to continue with the spirit of, this is just my personal example, but we should actually hear from the stalwarts who actually done it, who actually done the tapa, And this story will be very insignificant, like absolutely insignificant when you hear this. Hopefully technology helps us.
A few blocks from the temple, and one time there was no money for rent. I mean, I was working as a carpenter and not making very much and supporting a family. And a few of the other devotees, like Jayananda was a taxi driver and he was giving all his money. A few other devotees had jobs with maybe less than 10%. Everyone else was a hippie, you know. So there was never enough money because we were feeding everybody on the street every day, and there was rent to pay and so on. And gas to put in our cars to go out and do programs and so on. So we were really in a bind. There was no money for rent. We were behind about 2 months, and we were in very grave danger of being evicted. The landlord had severely gotten down on us. And Malti and I walked out on the street, on Ashbury Street, in front of our place there, one morning early to go to the temple and walk to the temple for kirtan. And there were all these $100 bills blowing down the sidewalk. One after another. We just started running around the street picking up $100 bills. There wasn't a person on the street. No one ever figured out where that came from. But these kind of things, I could always harken back to the magic days of Prabhupada. These are kind of things we began to expect of Krishna. Prabhupada, another thing he inculcated for us from the early days, is that if you take a risk for Krishna, stick your neck out and spread Krishna consciousness, Krishna must help you personally. And those who see Krishna closest take the biggest risk for him. And we tested that to the max, and it worked. We got to see Krishna. We got to see $100 bills rolling down the street. This spirit has died down. This spirit has died down. We're too comfortable.
Yeah, so that's His Grace Shyamananda Prabhu. Shyamananda Prabhu ki Jai. So Shyamasundar Prabhu, sorry. Shyamasundar Prabhu. So yeah, you can see that magic really happens. You know, in his own words, magic really happens. Right? So when we take a risk, magic really happens. I just want to share one more thing, that Yamuna Devi, who also went along to UK, and this is what she also said, that we didn't know what we were doing, but we were just enthusiastic to try. That's quite something. So that is what I want to try and catch, that ray, the moonbeam of Krishna's magic, that allows you to do things that you never thought you could do. They are far away from your comfort zone. But just because you love your Guru Maharaj, he said to do it, and with his blessing, a lame man can walk over mountains, a dumb man can speak, and a blind man can see. That is the mercy factor. Back to the big, huge mercy factor. So as you can see from these two examples, and a lot of other Prabhupada disciples over the years, you can see that magic really happens. And I'm going to stick my head out and say here that because I was sort of semi-involved in most of the process when we first bought this property, you know, that was a big risk. You know, how people are going to come, you know, it's such a big investment. But the seniors, a lot of them, they were guiding us and saying, no, we can take the risk, we should take the risk for spreading Krishna consciousness in Brisbane. Brisbane's a big city. There can be 2 temples, there can be 2 centers, and we can preach, and we can see the Janmashtami events like, Bhadra Purnima, even Vamanadev. They are there. We can see the proof. People are coming. So like that, you know, they have shown us, all the Prabhupada disciples, they have shown us the way to do this. And that's how really the transformation happens. Okay, so I'm just going to quickly cut it short now. Just going to 7:29. I'll just share one more thing and I'll probably end. So I just want to say that I had a few more slides to share, but maybe for another time. But most of us underestimate, this is what Bill Gates said, Most people overestimate what they can do in 1 year and underestimate what they can do in 10 years. Yes. Has anyone heard of this before?
Yes.
Yes? So, it's basically transformation by increments. Like we saw the example of Dhruva, no, only fruits, leaves, no water, only air. Usually if it's us, or just me, I'll go the other way. I want to go to the gym, I want to chant so many rounds, I'm going to chant, I'm going to read so much, etc., etc. But usually it goes the other way. First 2 days it'll be great, and then, it'll be the other way. But if you build up slowly, it really works. And Vaishashika Prabhu says, and all the scriptures also say actually, that make a vow. All the acharyas say, make a vow. Right? And they say that, Vaishashika Prabhu says, he always says, if when you're making a vow, make the vow that is above 0, but not less than 1. Right? So he talks about it all the time if you listen to him. Make a vow, it's above 0, but not less than 1. So that way that is incremental. So he's just making small changes. And he's got a lot of phrases that he's coined, like be a sage, page by page. So, read a page. You can become a sage, but by reading page by page. And so many other things like that. So I just want to end with one real story of transformation. And then we can finish. I know we've gone a bit over time. But this is, again, it draws home. And it gives us all hope, especially a person like me. So this story is of Indradumna Maharaj's mother. Right? Has anyone heard about that story? Have you got anyone who's heard of that story? Yeah. So Indradumna Maharaj's mom, Indradumna Maharaj had tried over the years, I'm just going to quickly skim through it. Indradumna Maharaj, over the years, he tried to help his mom be Krishna conscious. But his mom never wanted to. She just didn't want to. She didn't even show slightest interest. But whenever he used to go and visit her, he used to debate with her about various topics, about God, about karma, reincarnation, and all those sorts of things. But, she was never interested. But still Maharaj thought, Prabhupada is very merciful, my Guru Maharaj is very merciful, Krishna is very merciful. He kept on sending her books, kept on sending her books. But nothing came of it. Then one day, at a very odd hour, he describes, Maharaj says, he got a call from his mom. And he says, I want to come to Vrindavan. I want to go to Vrindavan. And Maharaj was stunned. It's like, all of a sudden, out of nowhere, all of these years she's been pushing me back, and now she wants me to take her to Vrindavan. So she was very perplexed, but it was very late. He said, look, okay, let me call you in the morning, and let's, make some arrangements and so on. So he called early in the morning, excited to, be able to, get his mom, to arrange to get his mom. And his brother, Pete, picked up the call, and he said, and then Maharaj said, okay, where's mom? And there was a long pause, so Maharaj understood that there was some issue. And then after a long pause, he said, look, mom's passed away. And Maharaj was very surprised, like, what happened? I just spoke to her last night. What really happened? And then Maharaj says, and then his brother says that, look, she had cancer for about the past 6 months, but she didn't want to bother you. But she was, at the beginning, she was very perplexed what to do with this. But then she thought about you, all the books. So she went to the garage, dusted off all the books, and told me to bring all the books. She used to read every day. She used to hear your classes, at least 3 classes a day. And then slowly, she became fearless. And at the end, she said, no, now I want to go to Vrindavan. But he couldn't. But obviously it was too late for her. But you can see, as his brother's account, that she became completely transformed, completely fearless. And the last words she told her brother were that, don't worry, I am going back to Krishna, I am an eternal soul. That's how he said it. So, this gives me goosebumps, this story, because, we are all going to be in that position one day or the other. Someday or the other, we're all going to be, our parents are going to be in that position, we are going to be in that position. And, just by staying true to these books, we've got a great opportunity that you're all here, you're all listening to Bhagavad Gita, you're all listening, you're hearing, you're chanting, So we all have got that opportunity. So we should not let it go to waste. This transformation that is happening amongst all of us, it's not very difficult. So, that's the main message that I want to pass today, is everyone is, working very, very hard. So keep going, keep working hard, keep chanting, keep hearing. And if you don't transform, Krishna has his way of transforming. You never know. You got Vaman sitting here. He will come to you one day and just ask for 3, steps of land. And we might say, yep, no problems. Doesn't seem a lot. And then he'll take you away completely. He'll just completely get you. So Krishna does his magic also. So, like, Grantra Srimad Bhagavatam ki, Bhagavad Gita ki, Hare Krishna. We're a bit late. We're all a bit late, so I think if there's any questions, we can talk after the class, but we'll all rise up for Aarti now. Hare Krishna.
Nice class,
Jaya Gauranitai, Jaya Gauranitai, Jaya Gauranitai, Jaya Gauranitai.
Krishna Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare.
Jai Om Vishnupad Paramhans Kori Vijakacharya Astotar Asat. His Divine Grace A.C. Bhaktivedanta Swami Prabhupada ki Ananta Koti Vaishnava Vrinda ki Naam Acharya Srila Haridas Thakur ki प्रेम से कहो श्री कृष्ण चैतन्य प्रभु नित्यानंद श्री अद्वैत गदाधर श्रीवास आदि गौर भक्त वृंद की श्री श्री राधा कृष्ण गोप गोपीनाथ श्याम कुंड राधा कुंड गिरिवर्धन गंगा माई यमुना माई भक्ति देवी तुलसी देवी सामवेद भक्त वृंद की हरि नाम संकीर्तन यज्ञ की युग धर्म हरे कृष्ण महामंत्र की ट्रांसेंडेंटल बुक डिस्ट्रीब्यूशन की ट्रांसेंडेंटल प्रसादम डिस्ट्रीब्यूशन की harekrishnatemple Burbanki. All glories to assembled devotees. All glories to assembled devotees. All glories to assembled devotees. All glories to Sri Guru and Gauranga. All glories to Srila Prabhupada.
Hare Krishna, dear devotees. Thank you once again for coming at Saturday Love Feast at Harekrishnatemple Burbank. Very special thank you to His Grace Sanatan Prabhu for such a nectar. Can we please give him a big Hari Bol? A very special thank you for today's cook for cooking such a wonderful prasadam. Today's cooks are Prema Madhuri Mataji, Ruchi Mataji, Urmi Mataji and Vishwanath Prabhu. Can we also please give them a big Hari Bol? We'll have Bhagavatam class tomorrow at 7:30 a.m. followed by Prasadam. We also have Zoom sessions for Srimad Bhagavatam every day in the morning from 6:30 a.m. to 7 a.m. You just have to join on the link and you just have to listen and it will set the mood for the rest of the day. So I highly encourage everyone, please join and listen. Also, please keep us following on Facebook, Instagram, YouTube. We have many programs coming, as Prabhu said in his class, that we now have Diwali festival. So please keep us following. Also, if you have any birthdays, anniversaries, or any celebration in your family and you want to sponsor a feast, we have sponsorships available. Please contact Keshapriya Prabhu and Gaurprem Prabhu and they will be able to help you out with that. Hare Krishna. Oh, sorry. And tomorrow evening we have a special kirtan from 4:30 p.m. by His Grace Pavanitai Prabhu. So please, I highly encourage. He have been amazing, and you all have been, hearing him since many sessions. So I highly encourage. Please come and get the nectar. Hare Krishna. We also have prasadam after 7:30. Namaste Narasimhaya. Namaste Narasimhaya. Namaste Narasimhaya. Namaste Narasimhaya.
Gopal Maharaj ki jai.